In December of 2010, they were their bodies were recovered. They were buried in a similar fashion, in a similar location, in a similar way. All the women were petite. They were they all did the same thing for a living. They all advertised the same way, and there were immediately there were similarities with regard to the crime scenes.
Rex Heuermann charged with 3 of the Gilgo Beach murders, and he's also the lead suspect in a 4th, but hasn't been charged yet. Police have uncovered the remains of 11 people in that area, most of whom were sex workers, just like Rex Heuermann's alleged victims were. So could more charges be coming for Heuermann, especially for Shannon Gilbert, whose suspicious disappearance and death led to the discovery of all of the other bodies? This is what is tipping the scales this morning.
State police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me. Stop it! No, please stop it, please! Please stop it, please! No, what are you gonna do to me? What are you gonna do to me? Stop it! Please, get him out of here. These people are plotting to kill me.
Let me bring in our guest, still in the studio with me, Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, who's been following this case since its inception, and joining us remotely, criminal defense attorney John Ray, who is representing the Gilbert family. John, welcome back on the show. Nice to see you. And I'd like to begin with you, please, as you have been running your own parallel investigation, so to speak, using private investigators to ascertain any available information about Shannon's disappearance. Has there been anything new learned since we last checked in with you, John?
There's an enormous amount of new information and evidence that we've learned since last time we spoke. And it certainly, all of the evidence that I'm speaking of, the new evidence that we have, points to the same thing inexorably, which is that Shannon was murdered. And it reaches the point where the police facile story is not just a fable, but it's an absurd fable when you consider all of the evidence. And I can't believe that they're adhering to that story up until now. Perhaps that's changing, but we see no evidence of it.
Remind us, please, John, what is the story police believe were the circumstances of Shannon's death?
I don't think they even believe their own story, but the story is that Shannon became crazed by some unknown cause, ran into an almost impenetrable marsh at daylight, as daylight was about to come up, and found her way into the marsh such that it's a relatively narrow marsh, and just managed to just drop dead of natural causes while she was in there. And the other theory they espouse equally is that she died from drowning, where she's found face up on a bush, and there's no water even close, remote. She would have to drink the water in order to drown.
No.
And yet they've adhered to this absurdity.
Right.
Why?
Exactly why.
There's a problem there.
Matt Johnson, you've heard these absurd theories. They make no sense, do they?
They make no sense, but you know what? I'm glad that out of this tragedy, we have an outcome where the other bodies were discovered and we're getting answers now. I mean, along with Shannon and her story, I think that is the big mystery in all of this. And then also the 4th victim, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, you know, who is connected to the Gilgo 4, connected to Rex Heuermann because he's the prime suspect in her murder.
Right, Matt. And the Gilgo 4, it's so hard to keep to 11 people found dead there.
Right.
These 4 victims were found similarly, right?
They were bound. They were in burlap sacks. They were found in similar manner and found in relatively the same area of that Ocean Parkway. Remember, this is a long stretch along a highway where all of these 11 remains were found. Some bodies were dismembered, and these victims were found whole but wrapped.
Oh my gosh, Matt, it's sickening. John Ray, let me go back to you, please. In the investigations that have been going on privately that you've been involved with, have there been any indications of any involvement with suspect Rex Heuermann?
Yes, there have been. The details of that I'm not ready to disclose. I have attempted to work with, and I've had some cooperation with the police department on this new evidence that's developed, but it now appears for the first time that there's a real strong possibility that Heuermann was connected with the group of people who are responsible for the death of Shannon Gilbert. We've always maintained, when you hear that tape, you'll see that I'm right, that there's a group of people involved. It's not just one. And that's why Shannon says they are trying to kill me. And there is now, I've been able to make some synapses between Heuermann's life and the life of those in Oak Beach. So we'll see. That's unfolding. It's going to take an enormous amount of intense investigation to really put those synapses, make them tight and come together, but they do exist.
Wow. John Ray, what you're sharing with us is huge.
Right.
I mean, I know you're not ready to reveal the particulars, and we certainly respect that. But just the fact that you're confirming for us today here on opening statements that in your private investigation, there has been discovered a link between Rex Heuermann and Shannon Gilbert. Matt Johnson, what does that make you think?
And
oh, go ahead, please, John.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, please. What would you like to add?
I was just going to say that part of the reason that this kind of information has come to us is that witnesses from all different places in the country even have been calling me, people who are afraid to speak to the police or have reasons not to want to speak to them. They call and speak to me. And I give them the time and the effort, and I meet them. And
sure.
It helps to advance this thing, so I hope that keeps going.
Seems that it really has. John, thank you for that. Matt Johnson, your reaction to this?
I think that this is big. Leave no stone unturned. We have also seen that the Gilgo task force is still investigating. They're interviewing women behind bars, and they solved another case unrelated to Heuermann.
Oh, they've been doing a marvelous job. As you know, you've been in touch with all the investigators, the public information officer there. Wow, so much more to be seen.